You a gambler?
Gambling when it makes sense. I'm a gambler when the odds are stacked in my favor.
When it comes to golf.
Not really, but I'll pull
We'll
a
play
few.
a little
We'll
fun game
have
or
some
something
fun.
like that.
I'll listen, I always love to gamble, but the thing is I used to gamble like a fucking madman.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of my friends just got destroyed gambling, like lost millions. And I have one friend that lost like $45 million gambling, blew out his life. So I got to the point with gambling where I was making so much money that it's like I couldn't win enough that it would ever move my needle. And when I lost $500,000, I'd be fucking pissed. Like, what the fuck is so what's the point of gambling when you're like, there's no upside, right? And it was almost, and then combine that when I was, high on coke. So when you're losing, you gamble, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that? I don't know if you ever gambled when you're high on blow.
Oh, never.
It's the fucking worst. It's just like this terrible downward spiral at you. Like, it's like, and it's awful. I remember as a kid, like I did drugs as a kid, right? I remember the worst experience I ever had was I was like 19 years old or 18 years old, and a friend convinced me to go to AC, Atlantic City, right? We had some old piece of shit car. We drove down there, right? And I was making money because I worked on the beach, but I was a kid money, right? I was making some decent money, and I think I brought $1,000, like my life fucking savings, down there to the beach, to AC, and I lost everything, and we were doing blow.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like driving back home in the car. We couldn't even pay for the fucking tolls. We had to like run the toll booths. It was like just the worst feeling.
It's not good.
Ever.
But I only asked you because one of the most the memorable things that we talked about before is the question when I asked you, what is the most you ever paid for a hooker?
Yeah, with or without casino chips, of course,
without,
right?
So that's why I referenced the gambling.
Let's include the chips.
5,000, maybe 25,000. I forgot already. But the point is like that it's the reason I answered that way is because like the chips aren't real. It's I wouldn't just hand it's 5,000 to a hooker, right? But if it's casino chips, you're like, hey, there's a gray, you have a nice day, right?
Yeah.
But I don't listen. I just find gambling like that. Like I have a good friend of mine who just was on a big roll. He's won about $4 or $5 million in the last month playing blackjack. And he keeps telling me, I won $1 million. I won 500. He keeps sending me the fucking stacks of money and the checks. I'm like, dude, I seen this fucking movie before. It always ends in one way with despair at the end.
It's just very hard to beat the house.
Exactly.
There's a reason why they're in business.
Poker is a different story. I think poker is different. Like, if you're playing poker with skill, then you can play. It's not gambling so much. It's different. But beating the house with blackjack or craps is fucking hard.
But you gotta have some pretty fucking savage gambling stories. You have any good gambling stories? Like a big night, big loss?
I have a lot of savage gambling stories. I mean, I think the biggest loss I took was $1.2 million, and which is not that much for me back then because I made a bunch of money. I'll tell you the funniest gambling stories that I went on this winning. This is an amazing story, by the way. So I learned to play craps, right? I was in Puerto Rico, and it was the El San Juan Hotel in 1986, right before I started Stratton, okay? And I had a little bit of money for being a stockbroker, and I was playing craps, and I thought I knew what I was doing, playing a few bets here and there, right? A little blackjack, and there's some guy in the casino, it was like a real sharp-looking guy, His name was Joey Fahum, right? We just met this guy, and I had a very hot first wife. He's like my wife, so we started talking. He's like, dude, let me show you how to play craps. I'm going to show you. I'm an expert at craps, right? How'd they give me $300, right? He goes, give me your money. I give him the $300. He takes the money, throws down, bam, loses the money in 2 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, give me another 100. I said, I take the 100. I give him $100. And I couldn't afford to lose the money back then, right? Give him 100. He's like, bam, gone in 2 fucking seconds. I'm like, he goes, just give me $50 more. Give him $50 more. Loses the money, bam, fuck. I was like, follow me. I'm like, all right. I start following the guy out of the casino. We walk out of the casino across the street to the next casino. I think it was the Sands, right? He goes, all right, how much money you have left? I said, I got like $40. He goes, give me a $40. And I watched this guy in 30 minutes turn $40 into $12,000.
With craps?
Craps.
Wow, wow.
$40 into, his name was Joey Fahum. Turned out he was like a junket guy. He was well known. He was a professional dice player. Mm-hmm. And he taught me how to play. I was so fucking blown away by how this guy played craps, and he showed me every single bet, how to press up, and I became a craps player, and I started going on a winning streak. Then I started Stratton, like I was just starting Stratton, and I started playing more and getting bigger and bigger, and I went on this like 2-year winning streak where I won every single time I played. Every time. Sometimes I go down, but I always come back up and just press. The whole idea was you get the table all loaded up and then you just fucking just roll. Yeah, you guys play craps at all?
A little bit, not too much, mostly blackjack. But
Okay, so I had the whole table loaded up, right? And then you just take money off the table. I had some really big wins, right? Kicked ass for like about a year or two straight, never lost. I'm on vacation in St. Martin, and I walk in some little shit-ass casino where the limit's like $50 or something, right? I was betting like 5,000 a fucking roll on each number, right? It was $50 limits, right? And I lost like $100, and I never won again.
Mm-hmm.
It broke my streak. Like this little shit casino. I think it was called Casino Royale in St. Martin, on the border of the French and the Dutch side. Right? Casino Royale, and the fuckers took my $50, whatever, $100, and it broke my streak. And then I kept losing and losing and losing for like fucking years. I just couldn't fucking get it together again. I finally got I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. I lost about couple of $1 million back. I ended up a net winner.